Have you ever wanted to run a D&D campaign in the world of Dune? You know, like with all the political intrigue and the sandworms and the spice.
Yeah. I mean, who hasn't, right? That setting is just begging to be adapted to tabletop.
Well, speaking of adapting it, I was actually just running a campaign the other night, and my players were kind of getting tired of the usual, elves and dragons.
Ah, I see, yeah.
They wanted something different, something that felt really unique and challenging.
Right.
That's when I remembered Dune.
Oh,
It's like, oh my gosh, Dune would be perfect for this. And then I remembered that I had seen this awesome article on LitRPG Reads called Turn Dune into a D&D Campaign Complete Guide.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. It's by Ajay Patel.
Yeah, exactly. It just came out yesterday, and I thought it'd be a good idea to take a deep dive into it,
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's start with the basics. The planet Arrakis.
Okay.
This is not your typical fantasy setting, There's no lush forests or sparkling rivers.
Yep.
It's a desert planet.
Straight up does.
Where water is more valuable than gold.
Then gold, yeah.
And giant sandworms rule the dunes. So, how can we as dungeon masters use this harsh environment to challenge our players in new and interesting ways?
Well, this guide really emphasizes the need to make survival a key element of the gameplay.
Right.
Imagine your players having to carefully manage their water supplies.
Yeah.
They're battling heat exhaustion.
Oh, for sure.
And they have to be constantly on the lookout for signs of a sandworm attack.
Oh, totally.
Suddenly every decision carries so much weight. Even simple tasks like traveling across the desert become super dangerous.
You're not just throwing monsters at them. You're forcing them to think strategically about resource management and environmental hazard.
Exactly. And the guide actually provides specific mechanics for handling these challenges.
Oh, cool.
There are constitution checks to resist heat stroke, or maybe they could use a thumper device to distract a sandworm.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Well, speaking of sandworms,
Yeah.
they're not just monsters. There was a force of nature.
Yeah.
Deeply intertwined with the ecosystem and the mystical elements of Arrakis. I mean, they could easily be a campaign-ending threat.
Oh, for sure.
So how do we balance that with playability?
That's a good question. The guide suggests incorporating sandworms as both a looming threat, but also a potential resource.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So imagine a scenario where your players need to cross a vast expanse of desert, but the only safe passage is through a sandworm's territory.
Okay.
Now they could try to avoid the worm altogether.
Right.
They could risk a dangerous confrontation. Or they could even try to bargain with a Fremen tribe who has learned to ride these colossal creatures.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So players negotiating with their Fremen tribe to secure safe passage across the desert.
Yeah.
Knowing that a single misstep could attract the attention of a sandworm.
Exactly.
Oh, man. That is intense. That's the kind of tension and excitement that Dune can bring to a D&D campaign.
Totally. And these sandworms, they aren't just mindless beasts either.
Right.
They're sensitive to vibrations, so every footstep, every vehicle, even a raised voice could draw their attention.
Wow.
This adds a whole other layer of strategic depth to exploration and combat. It forces players to consider their actions carefully.
Yeah, for sure.
And the guide actually even suggests allowing players to ride sandworms.
Really?
Although obviously it comes with its own risks and rewards.
Yeah.
Imagine a high-stakes chase scene where your players are pursued by Harkonnen soldiers across the dunes, and their only hope of escape is a perilous ride on the back of a sandworm.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Right.
That would be so cool.
But it's not just about the thrill of the ride.
Right.
Think about the role-playing opportunities.
Yeah, for sure.
How do your players convince the Fremen who revere the sandworms to even help them at all?
Right.
What sacrifices might they have to make?
That's what I love about this guide.
Yeah.
It's not just about mechanics, it's about storytelling.
Yeah.
It gives you the framework, but you as the DM and your players get to fill in the details and create a truly collaborative narrative.
Exactly. And what a narrative it can be.
Yeah.
Arrakis isn't just about survival and giant worms.
Right.
It's a world steeped in political intrigue,
Oh, yeah?
with noble houses vying for power, the Spacing Guild controlling interstellar travel, and the Freemen fighting for their very existence.
Oh, man. Imagine your players caught in the middle of a power struggle between House Atreides and House Harkonnen.
Oh, yeah.
forced to choose sides or forge their own path amidst the chaos.
Exactly. The guide breaks down each faction in detail, providing insight into their motivations, resources, and typical roles within the setting.
Okay.
So you can use this information to create complex NPCs, weave intricate storylines, and give your players meaningful choices that can shape the fate of Arrakis.
Wow, that's really cool. Okay, so we've talked about the sandworms, we've talked about the political landscape, but let's not forget about the spice melange.
Oh, yeah, the spice.
This isn't just a valuable commodity.
Right.
It's the lifeblood of the Imperium and the source of powerful abilities.
For sure.
So how can we translate the allure and danger of spice into compelling gameplay mechanics?
Well, the guide cleverly reimagines spice as like the foundation of magic in this setting.
Okay.
Players could use spice to enhance their spells, gain glimpses of the future, or even push their physical limits.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, like, imagine a player character, a spice addict, who desperately needs a fix to fuel their powers.
Yeah.
Do they risk stealing from a heavily guarded caravan, knowing the consequences if they're caught?
Right.
Or do they try to bargain with a Fremen tribe for a share of their precious spice, potentially compromising their own morals in the process?
Those are tough choices with real consequences, and that's the beauty of spice.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword offering immense power, but at a steep price.
It's not just about gaining magical abilities.
Yeah.
It's about the choices players make to acquire and use spice and the potential ramifications of those choices.
Exactly.
Do they succumb to addiction? Do they become pawns in the political machinations of the great houses? These are the kinds of questions that can drive a campaign forward and create truly memorable role-playing moments.
Absolutely. The guide even provides specific rules for spice addiction,
Oh, cool.
including withdrawal symptoms and potential mutations,
Oh, wow.
which can be incorporated into the game to add a layer of realism and moral complexity.
That is so cool. Okay, so we've talked about the survival elements, the political intrigue, the spice, but we can't forget about the mystical side of Dune.
Oh, right. The Bene Gesserit and the Fremen?
Yes,
Yeah.
the Bene Gesserit with their manipulation of prophecy and the Fremen with their deep connection to the desert add a layer of intrigue and spirituality to the setting. How can we integrate these elements into our campaigns?
Well, imagine a player character encountering a Bene Gesserit Reverend Mother,
Okay.
her words shrouded in riddles and veiled threats.
Ooh, spooky.
Or maybe they stumble upon a Freeman siege, witnessing ancient rituals and learning about their unique beliefs and customs.
Oh man, think about the possibilities for character development.
Right.
A player could be trained by the Bene Gesserit, learning to control their mind and body.
Yeah.
Or they could embrace the Freeman way of life, becoming a fierce warrior dedicated to the survival of their people.
Totally. The guide even suggests using prophecy as a narrative tool,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
offering players cryptic visions that hint at future events or guide them towards their destiny.
Oh, that's cool.
Imagine the sense of wonder and uncertainty as your players piece together fragments of prophecy, trying to decipher their meaning and determine their role in the grand scheme of things.
Oh man, it's like weaving a tapestry of fate and free will, where players' choices have a real impact on the unfolding story.
Exactly.
And let's not forget the potential for conflict and collaboration between the different factions.
Oh, yeah.
The Bene Gesserit might manipulate events from the shadows, while the Freemen struggle to maintain their independence in the face of imperial pressure. How do your players navigate this complex web of alliances and rivalries?
That's where the sandbox element of D&D truly shines. The guide provides a framework, but ultimately it's up to you and your players to decide how the story unfolds.
And the possibilities are endless.
Right.
Your players could become embroiled in a Freeman rebellion against Harkonnen rule,
Yeah.
uncover a Bene Gesserit conspiracy to control the spice trade, or even face off against a rogue sandworm worshipped by a fanatical cult.
With a setting as rich and vibrant as Dune, there's no limit to the adventures you can create.
It's like stepping into a fully realized world with its own history, culture, and challenges.
Totally.
And that's what makes it so compelling for D&D.
Absolutely. But what about those who might be intimidated by the sheer scale and complexity of the Dune universe?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Is it possible to capture the essence of Dune without getting bogged down in the details?
Oh yeah, for sure. The guide provides plenty of options for scaling the setting to fit your campaign's needs.
Okay.
You can focus on a specific region of Arrakis, like the bustling city of Arrakeen, or the remote sieges of the deep desert.
You could even start with a smaller scale story,
Yeah.
like a smuggling operation gone wrong, or a mission to rescue a kidnapped Freeman child and gradually expand the scope of the campaign as your players become more familiar with the world.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah.
The key is to find a balance between detail and accessibility.
Yeah.
You want to create a setting that feels immersive and authentic, but you don't want to overwhelm your players with information overload.
And remember, you don't have to be a Dune expert to run a successful campaign.
Right?
The guide does a great job of distilling the essential elements of the setting and providing you with the tools you need to create a compelling and engaging story.
Exactly. It's more about capturing the spirit of Dune, the themes of survival adaptation, and the struggle for power.
Yeah.
And translating them into your own unique D&D experience.
Yeah.
So, one thing that I really liked about this guide is how it encourages dungeon masters to embrace the unique blend of fantasy and science fiction that makes Dune so compelling. So how can we bring those elements together in a way that feels cohesive and exciting for our players?
Well, the guide suggests treating advanced technology as something both wondrous and rare.
Okay.
Like, imagine your players discovering a derelict ornithopter,
Okay.
like half buried in the sand.
Uh-huh.
And its intricate machinery is like this testament to a bygone era.
Right.
Would they try to repair it,
Okay.
gaining a significant advantage in travel and combat? Or would they dismantle it, selling its valuable components to the highest bidder?
Oh, that's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
Like finding a legendary artifact, but instead of a magical sword or a mystical amulet,
Right.
it's a piece of technology that feels both ancient and futuristic.
Exactly. And the guide doesn't shy away from the ethical dilemmas that these technologies might present.
Okay.
Like, imagine your players finding a stash of personal shield generators.
Okay.
Do they use them for self-defense, giving them an edge in battle?
Right.
Or do they sell them to a powerful noble house, potentially fueling further conflict and oppression?
Man, those are the kinds of choices that can really get your players thinking
Right.
about the implications of their actions and the complexities of the world you've created.
Exactly. Another great suggestion from the guide is to incorporate elements of Dune's culture and society into your campaign.
Okay.
The Freemen, for example, have a deep spiritual connection to the desert and a unique code of honor.
Right.
Imagine your players having to navigate these cultural differences, earning the trust of a Freeman tribe,
Yeah.
or mediating a dispute between rival sieges.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Or how about the Bene Gesserit with their subtle manipulations and prophetic abilities?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine a player character being tested by a reverend mother, facing psychological challenges and moral dilemmas that push them to their limits.
Yeah, these encounters can add so much depth and intrigue to your campaign,
Totally.
giving players a chance to interact with the world on a more personal level
Right.
and explore themes of loyalty, betrayal, and the pursuit of power.
And, we can't forget about the visual element.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Dune is known for its stunning imagery,
Mm-hmm.
from the vast, desolate desertscapes
Yeah.
to the intricate designs of the Freeman still suits.
Right.
So how can we, as dungeon masters, evoke that same sense of awe and wonder in our games?
Well, the guide offers suggestions for creating evocative descriptions
Oh,
and using visual aids like maps and concept art to bring the world of Arrakis to life at your table.
Oh, that's a good idea. You can even encourage your players to create mood boards or draw their own interpretations of characters and locations.
Yeah, totally.
It's all about immersing yourselves in the setting and letting your imaginations run wild.
Well, this has been a fantastic deep dive into how to incorporate the world of Dune into our D&D campaigns.
It really has.
If you're looking for more inspiration, definitely check out LitRPG Reads.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They've got tons of articles and resources for fans of genre-bending stories like this one, and they're constantly updating their content with new and exciting ideas.
And don't forget to check out Ajay Patel's work. Particularly, this guide turned Dune into a D&D campaign.
Yeah, it's a great resource.
It's an incredible resource for anyone who wants to bring the epic scale and intricate details of Dune to their tabletop.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
we have one final question for you.
Okay, I like it.
Imagine you're creating a new settlement on Arrakis for your campaign.
Okay.
How would you design it to reflect the challenges and opportunities of this unique environment?
Would it be a bustling trade hub? A hidden Freeman sitch? Or a research outpost dedicated to unlocking the secrets of spice?
Ooh.
Let us know your ideas in the comments below.
Yeah, we'd love to hear them.
We can't wait to see what you all come up with.